All right, so we did it. We did it. Okay, so I think we're okay. It's a little shaky, but we're going to be okay. We are live now. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here, guys. It's such a pleasure to be here. If for some reason my camera turns off or something throughout the session, please bear with it because I think the bandwidth is kind of low today. And that's okay. We're going to kind of work along. All right, so today we have so much to talk about because those of you that were joining me for the solstice, we were actually going through all of the things that well, solstice is a moment of hibernation. It's a moment of going deep within and the process of entering into the subconscious mind in order to understand what are the things that are actually limiting our full expression, our full expansiveness. These are the things that we want to be looking at and working on at this time. And I shared with you a meditation that is going to really help with that. And the purpose of that meditation is perfect because we are using the technology of the time. The technology right now is about working with energy and life force and light. And how do we use that energy in a way that is very, very productive for our energetic bodies and for our spiritual work? So the more that we are able to actually tune in to these internal realms and kind of translate the information that we're experiencing within the bodies through the bodies, the more we can get clear messages about what our bodies need, where we're at, where we require more support, more love, and that essentially is going to help us in our journey. So I want to share with you, working a little deeper with the multidimensional body. I've had many questions, and I've also asked you, those of you that have participated, sharing some of the blockages that you are working with at this time. What are the major blockages that you seem to find in your spiritual path, mind, body, and soul, and how can we help support those? So let's take a look at some of those posts that people have put and see how we can answer that. Let me go ahead and open this up. I also want to explain a little bit more about the multidimensional body and what we're doing when we're actually healing and removing these blockages out of our space. So Christmas is really about, so that this time of the year especially, it's very interesting because this time of the year, we're actually going into that hibernation in order to go into the subconscious mind. And that's what winter is about. In winter, we are going into the depths of ourselves. And right now we are operating by the Gregorian calendar, but in reality, the actual way that these universal systems and the timelines of the universe are actually functioning, we're operating at another order, and it tends to align with spring, with the spring equinox and the spring, which is actually the beginning of the year. That's actually the first month of the year astrologically, and it's also the beginning of the energy of creation, the core root archetypal form that we have in the spectrum of archetypes. And it begins in spring. So spring is actually the new year that our bodies are actually more aligned with. It's interesting that things are kind of upside down in this world. We take Christmas time and New Year's, January 1st, as a time to enter into the new year. And numerically, it has become that way. But energetically, we really start the new year in the springtime. The winter and this time of Christmas is a time for you to go deep within. And it's beautiful because if you follow along the natural alignment of nature, you can understand how we tend to come into hibernation during winter in order to access the subconscious programs, and from there see what emerges from those shadows, from those darks. And the whole purpose of the Christmas, the Christmas tree, the significance behind that symbolism is that it's an illumination that is coming from within. in this darkness, in this dark moment, this dark shadow phase that we're going through humanity, somehow the light is illuminated. What is that light? It's essentially your internal light, the expansion of your field. It is the chrism, it is the pineal gland activating in order to create that chrism over time, which allows you to come into this higher state of awareness. And opening your vision, your true vision, to see the multidimensional vision, to be able to activate your higher faculties and to be able to experience these multidimensional realities and truths that we're experiencing all the time in waking state and in dream time. So these months of winter are the perfect opportunity to go deep into those final clearings of where are you in your evolutionary cycle? Where have you doubted your light, your truth, your expression, your expansion? Where are you limiting yourself in order to open that up, so that in spring, when we go through the rebirth, right, to the opening of this new phase, this new numerical energetic energy in the universe, the seeds that you have planted are now expanding and growing. So this is a wonderful time during this season to do the work. And I would love to support that clearing part of you as you activate the new technology of the body, which is essentially, we're going into a multidimensional era right now. We're going into a higher octave. Our human race is going into a higher octave of working with our energy in a much more connected way. And before, it was only a few groups of people that knew this information. Okay, it was just a few groups of people that practiced these ancient practices and were connected to nature, connected to themselves, and cultivated a deep connection to their source. But now we are needing to expand that awareness to the masses, because the masses are needing to graduate and to evolve and to mature into a multidimensional human race. So right now, the ability to expand into our awareness of our multidimensionality is actually, I mentioned before, intuition being a tool of survival. Well, it's more than that. It's your ability to have harmony in your body, mind, and soul, and then to have harmony with the external, which means that you are able to come into your state of true creation. And true creation essentially is a product of the integration of your three main aspects of yourself: the physical, your heart, this connecting, coherent energy that connects you to all things in this physical and non-physical realm, and your crown, which is your center of connection to the non-physical. And of course, in that integration process, opening the channels of communication so that you are able to channel the information as necessarily important for you, for your healing, for your evolution, for your expansion, and to be able to learn the language of this universe, which is about energy, frequency. Can you tune into that energy in a way that is easy for you to translate? Are you awake in your dream? Are you lucid in your dream, both in waking state and dream state? So the more that we fall back asleep, unconscious, and go into repetitive cycles, it's interesting. I was thinking about the repetitive cycles being more of a tool, because it's a tool for the conscious human. The nature of this entire universe functions like these spiral motions. So everything is going in these spiral motions, but we also psychologically, we tend to move in these spiral motions, repeating programs, and biochemically we are wired to repeat that. So during this season, as we come into this new year, this very powerful new year where things are going to change in a whole different way, your ability to cultivate your higher faculties, the ability for you to cultivate a deeper connection to yourself, is actually part of the creation of this new human, so to speak. And again, this is on a massive scale. So we are hoping that the more that we cultivate, as an example, the ability to hold our energetic space, to clear our energetic bodies proactively, we can be a clear channel. And remember that you being a channel is not just about you receiving information, it's about you becoming a conduit for that infinite potential to enter through your body and heal the earth as well. Because wherever you are on this planet, you are deeply connected to the grid lines of this earth. So in the same way that you're healing your body, you are healing this planet earth in a profound way. You're activating the memory of the DNA of the planet. You are activating the DNA of your physical body, which allows this illumination. Okay, in 2017, I saw the planet Earth covered in little golden lights, and they were people that were, the golden lights were a representation of people that were actively working on this conductivity of bioelectricity within their body, which as a result means higher faculties, higher intuitive awareness. And, you know, this is something that there is an energetic grid. There is an invisible energetic grid around the entire world where every human is interconnected to that. And there are monitors of that energy. So whenever there is a light that is ignited into higher consciousness, it creates a ripple effect in the collective field. And it affects our families, our children, our loved ones, and it provides an opening energetically for the rest of that collective group to ascend to a certain, another octave, a potential higher octave. Because of free will, every single human simply gets the invitation and they can choose whether they want to dive deeper into that potential. But every human essentially is part of this interconnected web. So when we talk about unity consciousness, the invitation is that we work deeply on the woundings that we have within ourselves to hold space for more love, more unconditional self-love, more love, universal love, to be able to love those around us and see other people's expressions and acts as a reflection of our own shadows that have been unmet or unseen yet. So this kind of cultivation of compassionate existence is something that is a byproduct of this internal work. And we are not doing it for that purpose. We do it for our own internal awareness and the cultivation of our emotional bodies, our energetic bodies, our health, our longevity, our vitality, and most importantly, that we find our truth, because our truth is something that we are, it's layers and layers of truth that we are uncovering of ourselves. So during these months of winter, of this winter solstice, the invitation is to retreat, to go within, and to spend the time in that darkness, the darkness of this you know, experience that we're having. And of course, it's different for the northern, southern hemisphere. You know, we experience different seasons, but universally the energy that is available, regardless of which hemisphere you live on, is for that internal work. It's for the deep internal work, working with the subconscious mind collectively as we come into the rebirth of this planet Earth. So let's go into, I want to talk a little bit about the illumination of the Christ consciousness. Now we call it Christ consciousness because of the chrism that is created in the pineal gland. But beyond that, the representation of Christ was an example, as many of the other beautiful examples of pure embodiment in this world. You know, all the sages, all the wise, you know, beings on this planet that have elevated consciousness, that have been able to master matter. Jesus Christ, of course, was one of those examples. And in his example of his life, he showed how he was able to turn water to wine, how to affect matter. All of these are things that we have the ability of tuning into. We have, it's an example of the abilities that we have to master matter, to change somehow our surroundings, our internal environment. And this kind of alchemy, this is pure alchemy. It's the alchemization of turning one form of matter into a higher form of matter. So when we are cultivating the ability to do that, the human body has to allow a moment to observe what are the patterns that we are repeating, and choose constantly and consciously to end those patterns throughout your day. Every moment of your day, be aware Are you repeating patterns, or are you in a state of co-creation? And is it productive and conducive for your expansion, or are you limiting yourself in the repeated patterns of suffering? This very simple level of awareness is something that is extremely transformative, but for many people, can be very challenging because we need to be in constant awareness and observation of ourselves. And much of our lives in this busy life with our families, our friends, is externalized. We are externally looking at what's happening. And that mode of being is a direct result of being in a state of survival because, biochemically, psychologically, we are wired to be aware of our surroundings, to know if something is going to kill us or harm us in some way. But to exist in that state of being is a very primitive existence. And energetically, bioelectrically, the geometric architecture of your physical body, psychologically, how you're engaging in the world. Remember that your thoughts are bioelectrical charges that feed into this system of creation and experience.
Today, Sunday feels like Saturday.
Sorry, I'm going to ask you guys to mute yourself. Let me just mute you guys. There you go. All right. So yeah, so that constant existence of maintaining that charge in a very primitive energetic state is something that will limit your expansiveness, and it's also going to create a very solid and very specific filter of perception. So this very primitive survival state, and we know states of consciousness, there are infinite states of consciousness. When we exist in these most primitive states of consciousness, there is a very specific side effect to that. So we are exchanging in the universe in a very specific language energetically. Remember that your way of being, your way of seeing the world is an energetic frequency. It is a signature that is creating a dialogue with the universe, with the world around you, the people around you. And whether you are aware of it or not, you are influencing your environment with your energetic signature. This is in the subconscious realms of people. We are triggering things. We are repeating certain patterns. So we need to, in a way, just become aware. And one of the first steps is to just begin to observe yourself over the past week. What were those repetitions that you went into? And are they truly conducive to your truth and your health, your vitality? And then we ask, is it in alignment with the higher universal truths? And I talked last week about GPAC, grounding, protecting, aligning, and primarily about the ethics and morals of our core values that we want to kind of look at and revisit. Is our existence aligned with nature? Are our actions mindful of the effect of our actions on nature? Our emotional expressions, are they in alignment with harmonious patterns of nature? Everything that we're doing, our thoughts, our emotions, our intentions, when we begin to elevate our state of awareness and consciousness to this question, are we in harmony truly? Not only within ourselves, are we in harmony with others? Are we in harmony with the greater whole? The perspective of your choices begins to change. And these questions are the embodiment of true self-love, because love, again, is the unifying force of harmony. And there is an order to that harmony. Love is it's a self-organizing intelligence. It's the universal self-organizing intelligence of this construct of nature. There are very beautiful, balanced, organized patterns, which is the language of energy that creates geometric form. It organizes the people that we attract into our life, the events that we experience, and of course, how we hold energy in the physical body. So that level of consciousness is a deliberate choice. And this process of alchemy, this is the alchemy right here. Okay, so the embodiment of self-love, the acts of self-love, this mindful awareness of are you in harmony with everything around you, is self-love. And it is, as you can see, this love has nothing to do with exchanging with another human. It isn't the love that is this emotional connection. It is a universal unity consciousness. And this is the kind of love that allows us to expand our blinders from a very myopic view of this transactional exchange, in which it's based on survival again. Okay, so everything that is done in survival mode is always going to be transactional. It's always going to be very limited, and it's never going to have the full picture. The invitation is to come into that divine state of harmony. The more that we enhance our connection to nature, what do I mean by that? Nature, in order to experience nature, we need to come into a very subtle stillness, into an observation, in order to observe, observe, and in that stillness, the intricacies and the complexities and the beauty of your surroundings when you are in nature. And nature has a way of interconnecting you with your surroundings, because of the geometry that is cultivated in a natural environment. It is based on symmetry and harmony. All of nature is working in harmony. Life, death cycles exist in nature, and it's all part of the natural balance of those ecosystems. And when our physical bodies are all jumbled up, if you were to see your body multidimensionally, a human that spends, let's say, 50 hours in an office or 50 hours a week in front of their screens, their energetic system is completely imbalanced. Okay, completely imbalanced. The chakra systems are out of balance. They're overactive. You can see heavier pools of energy, and I want to say like contraction and stagnation in the lower parts of their body. So remember that we have many geometric forms that the body has the ability to embody. But unfortunately, for the majority of humanity, our states of consciousness are so low and disconnected from nature that we barely come into a symmetry in our physical body. Okay, so to embody that kind of symmetry means that pathways are open. Pathways are open. When we disconnect from the symmetry of nature, our pathways are closed. Okay, so that's the easiest way to understand this sacred geometry of the physical body. Are your pathways closed? And they become closed when we externalize the attention to the physical without cultivating that connection to the divinity, okay, to the divine, to the higher self. And I'm going to jump into the questions in just a minute, because I'm talking about this because of the kind of questions I got this week. But essentially, when this crown is in a dormant state, you are not co-creating. You are not manifesting from your crown. And the crown is the point of unification of universal DNA, which is essentially the translation. DNA is a way to translate infinite potential that is encoded within the morphogenetic field, self-organized within dimensions. Your crown chakra filters that information based on the vibrational frequency of this one vessel, this one manifestation. You as a whole are fractalized in this universe in many manifestations, and you experience those manifestations in your dream state. You visit them when you go into trance states. Some of you that are more open and lucid, you are aware of these manifestations in your surroundings all the time. So you can see ghosts, beings, entities, ETs. All of these are manifestations and fractals of our self. And so this fractal in the physical body, you right here, right now, watching this stream, essentially is one fractal of all of these systems. Okay, so this crown chakra is encoded with specific information about the purpose and the experience of this fractal. And when you are dormant here in the crown, you're not going to understand. You're not going to understand why you were born into the family you're born into. You're not going to understand your path. You're not going to understand your strengths, your gifts. And you're not going to understand your purpose, essentially. Purpose, not like one linear directive, but rather a harmonious existence is what I mean by purpose. Purpose is more of coming deeper into harmony, deeper into alignment with that natural self-organized system of co-creation. That is what purpose would mean. So anytime we fall out of that harmonious system of co-creation, we are existing out of alignment, outside of our purpose. And this is where we end up falling into the laws of accident, right? So what happens when the vibrational frequency, we're all talking about frequency right now, because to be in harmony is a very specific higher frequency, specific in the sense that it's a specific range of frequency that we have the potential of accessing. It's a harmonious. The geometry of that frequency in the physical body is presented as more of a symmetric, open system of energy, okay? As opposed to coming out of harmony, in which our energy systems are distorted, disharmonious, non-symmetrical. And we see this, of course, when we look into our multidimensional bodies and we begin to see that half of our body is missing here. We can't even see it. We can't even feel it. We can't even be aware of it. The whole back of our body back here, we don't even know what's happening. We can't even imagine that part of our body. We can't even imagine our connection sitting in meditation, or even with your eyes, you cannot even be aware of your energetic body in the back of your body. So that is a direct reflection of being completely disconnected to your subconscious mind. You see, your body is this intelligent system of consciousness, and where your awareness is in this universe, okay, so this physical body is a universe. Where your attention is in that universe is where you can harness life force and potential and creative life force through those parts of your body, because your body is the fractal of the universe and you can channel creative energy through there. But when you begin to become blind of certain parts of your body, you're becoming blind of entire libraries, memories of your body, of yourself, of your multidimensional self, and of course, aspects of your psychological aspects of yourself, your subconscious mind, and of course, physical connection. So illnesses, aches, pains are a natural side effect of that kind of blindness to your multidimensionality. So this kind of non-symmetrical existence is a disharmonious state in the body. Natural, when the human goes into nature, this is why scientifically proven, they talk about the positive, negative charges in the body are balancing. What does that mean? The pathways, open pathways of energy, that as those positive and negative charges balance in the body, your entire multidimensional architecture is also becoming balanced. Okay, so when those positive and negative charges begin to move through the body, now we expand our awareness. And you'll notice that when you are in nature and you spend enough time in nature, I've experienced this, and let me know your experience. If you have like tightness in your belly, like it just relaxes, and all of the muscles in the body come into just a more subtle, connected, and aware state. So this is the beauty of this world that we exist in. Your manifestation in the physical body has a natural medicine cabinet, essentially a medicine, a healing center when you go into nature, because we are a sacred geometry. We are life force, and there are pathways of life force through this organic system that can be readjusted. Okay, there's no need for any external technology to make this happen. You don't need any grounding mats, you don't need any crystals, you don't need any of that. This is natural. You in nature come back into harmony. Okay, so we can't always go into nature. We need to create that kind of harmony in our bodies, energetically, and in our meditation. So this is why these practices are extremely important, that as we begin to move the stagnation that is in your field, you once again open pathways of energy from the source to be able to irrigate life force into your body and then channel into your creation in a way that is connected, grounded, intuitive, mindful and harmonious with all the parts of yourself. Okay, so that is essentially alchemy. That's two things. It's alchemy and it's self-love. Okay, so if I were to define self-love, it would be this, what I just spoke of right now. That is the embodiment of self-love. Self-love is not just you feeling cozy feelings towards yourself or doing nice things for yourself. It is literally the embodiment and the recalibration in order to open energy pathways through your body. And that takes a lot of love and compassion for yourself, because the human that is in survival is not going to remember to be compassionate of themselves. Okay, when we're in survival, we're completely disconnected with ourselves. And honestly, we can do anything to get the chemical hits of pleasure or attention or whatever biochemically you are wired to pursue instead of self-love. It's all in the pursuit of love, love being this universal fountain of regeneration and giving and energy, life force. So, but unfortunately, it's our concept and our understanding is confused, it's convoluted. We get completely disconnected from that true awareness. So the ability to actually be aware of where your patterns are running biochemically in order to trigger you to chase the dopamine hit or all those little chemicals that we are running after, especially during Christmas, which is something that I was thinking about last night when well, yesterday afternoon, I visited a friend of mine that has children, and they were watching a movie called Red One, some holiday film. And I found it very interesting as I catch a glimpse of this film, that the guy that was this really big buff guy, he was like disappointed about being a Santa Claus's assistant because he lost the trust and the hope in the children and humanity, because humanity was on the naughty list. Okay, and towards the end of the film, he regains the ability to see the inner child of the adult. And I just thought that was so incredible. How did he regain that? Is that he reestablished a hope with himself. He reestablished the awareness, and he remembered again the divinity of each human. And yet, in this storyline, the entire thing of Christmas is that we are pushing this material thing, right? Let's get the gifts to the kids. The Santa Claus has to get the gifts to the children, right? And in reality, the gift is really the Christ consciousness. It's the lifting of the veil of our vision to be able to see truly the gifts that are within us. And it's not about a material thing, but in our world that has been inverted in such a way that all of our attention is on the material, it's on the external, it's on the getting and the buying of these items that are meant to fulfill the child and bring happiness into their life. But we need to reverse this understanding and understand that the joy and the happiness is not about the material things for anyone. And we fall into that all the time because we look for external things to bring us joy, fulfillment, happiness, but the true vision to be able to see each other as the divine internal child and no longer see the person as a criminal or someone that does something bad or some on the naughty list, essentially, is to be able to see the true being that is there, the true self of that being. And that is a powerful gift, because when we develop that vision again, now we can come into compassion. That's the embodiment of self-love. And we see ourselves, we are all children. All of us are just children learning how to become these beings of co-creation. So when we embody this love, this compassion towards ourselves, we are able to see the true meaning of this existence. And it has nothing to do with this material world, but it's interesting how it's been inverted. And you know, use this time, use the holiday, this holiday, many of you have time off, to spend time as much as you can in that reconnection with yourself and developing your own filter of seeing truly yourself and the things around you in a way that is loving. All right, so that being said, I'm going to jump into some comments and questions that I've had about challenges. Let's see. Let me find those. My lovely assistant is on holiday today, so I'm going to have to do this by myself. Let me try to find this. I just want to take the time to thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for doing the work. You guys are just an inspiration to me. You guys do incredible healing work. I'm hearing about your stories, about your healing, about your ascension, about your, you know, what you're getting from your meditations. It's just so beautiful. And I want to thank you for your light and for being part of this family. Some of you are new, and it is such a gift to connect with you. So let me come over here to these questions. Okay. Thank you guys for so many beautiful comments, by the way. Your comments are so incredible. Thank you. Okay, so here's a comment here. Hi, Geraldine. I could feel all the way. So this is in response to the practice for the solstice, and we're going to do that one right now too. So hang in there. He says, hi, I could feel all the way around the body, but I couldn't feel the top of the head going out. It was fear. It might be in fear of the unknown, but something I've got to work on. Any tips would help. Love you and thank you. Hope you are having a beautiful Christmas. This is David Brian Davies, 7617. Okay, so this was really interesting comment. So his comment was that when he came up to the crown of the head, he couldn't connect to that. And his insight was that he was fearful of the unknown. And that is so perfect, exact what is happening there. Because remember that your higher faculties, let's open up the PowerPoint for a moment real quick. Our higher faculties are activated when we are integrating the lower and the middle dantian. Let me open this, guys. Give me just 1 second. Okay, so let's take a look at this one more time. Okay, so let's make this legible so you can see it. Remember that the 7th chakra is the relationship with your higher self. So if we are very disconnected from our higher self, you know, normally this entire part of our body, the 7th, the crown, is just totally disconnected. We have no access to that. You know, and the interesting thing about that is that it shows how integrated are you, how embodied is your higher self in your everyday life. The higher self should not be a conceptual thing or something that we develop at some point, someday. You know, when we get there, we're going to embody the higher self. The higher self is absolutely you. It is you. It is here. It is now. Every time that you begin to question your reality, that's your higher self talking and speaking to you. Every time that you begin to use alchemy and changing your emotion from one state to another, you are channeling that higher self, because it's changing the perception of your reality in another octave, and your higher self is at a higher octave. Okay, it's you in a higher octave. So anytime you start to tune into that part of you, it's just speaking right through you. So please don't think that you are disconnected and you have to go to a session with some shaman to connect to your higher self. Your higher self is in you all the time, completely accessible to you at all the time, any moment. And all that it takes is that you activate and open your pathway for that frequency to be able to enter into the body. You are a frequency being, a bioelectrical frequency being. So when we shut ourselves off and when we block the pathway of, you know, our own life force to our source and to this higher octave information that is available to us, you know, it's difficult for us to get the messages. Right? It's difficult for us to get any kind of communication. We feel lost, we feel disconnected. All of our attention is leaking out of our body in a centrifugal manner. You know, your energy and your attention is in the physical. Okay, so what happens is that we are not cultivating that connection. So remember, the lower dantian, the first three chakras, sorry, it's really thick pencil there. The lower dantian being the first three chakras, essentially, that is our most primal, and it's our connection, our translation, our communication with the physical realm. Your heart, your throat, your third eye. These are the ones that we have to activate, because most of the time, in most of us, these are blocked. We don't even know how to use these guys up here. We are experts in utilizing the first three chakras because that's how we navigate the physical realm. And when the physical realm is where all of our tension is, naturally you're going to be entangled in that energy and these will be enlarged. But the more we begin to activate heart, the more we begin to activate harmony in our duality, feminine, masculine energy, the more we begin to use our intuition. These beautiful, look how beautiful our human body is. These beautiful three centers of life force help you self-organize and come into that symmetry, come into that harmony. So let yourself balance your chakras on a daily basis. We should look like, just like these chakras are stacked in a kind of a line that are a little bit, it's a little broader in the top because we want to use our intuition more, our heart, we want to use our heart more, we want to use our throat, our communication. This entire center of the throat is the balance of feminine, masculine perception in order to express and communicate. It is intentional creation. Our voice is what creates. And this is also creating a balance in your nervous system, in your hormonal system, in the biochemical system of your body. The throat chakra is one of the most important centers that connects the non-physical language with the physical language. Non-physical life force is translated into biochemistry and bioelectricity through the throat. So the throat is extremely important. So when we have our throat blocked, when we are not able to move the energy through the throat, this is where we have a disconnect with these aspects of ourselves. So the cultivation of expansion of these places, so we can start changing the filters of our perception, help us open the pathways of life force. Okay, so essentially the body is not blocking its infinite potential through the body. Let's talk about the pathways of energy through the bioelectrical system of your spinal cord, connecting with your chakra system. Right, these pathways that are braiding, they braid energy, you know, in order to create this DNA spiral-like form through our body. It's just a natural pathway shape of the universe. It's a spiral. You have it in your body. You have it everywhere. You have it in your cells. It's in nature. It's everywhere. Okay, so that natural pathway, when you block it by having some kind of block in your body, which is a thought form, it's always a thought form. Okay, so anytime you have this thought form that you haven't processed here, or you're resisting, you're avoiding an emotional pain, an emotional trauma, something happened to you, we lost a loved one, you know, and then that thought form is stuck. We don't want to feel it, we don't want to address it, we don't want to acknowledge it. This is what you're going to get. You're going to have a big block in your energetic body. So you are blocking the pathways of your own life force through your body. The more and more you avoid it, because this becomes crystallized, so energy cannot flow through here. You are deeply disconnected from your higher self. All of this is unknown. We don't want to know it. We are in denial of it. We want to avoid it. We want to avoid pain. So we don't want to touch it. So that level of choosing to be unconscious is what disconnects us from the unknown. And in our culture, in all the global culture of humanity, we are taught to disconnect from these parts of ourselves. We are not, because we're not taught about emotional intelligence. We're not taught about our chakras as children. That's a big unfortunate thing that our generations have gone through, but it's okay. The next generation is going to be different. That we grow up learning about emotions, we grow up learning about bioelectricity and what it means to embody emotional intention for creation. That simple awareness will help us understand that we need to very quickly and proactively work with these emotional blockages in the body and start to eliminate and move them. It's basically awareness. Okay, consciousness changes when it becomes aware. So when you put your attention on it. So essentially, we are opening this pathway here. Okay, so the dialogue that we are creating is that we are connecting the root with the higher self. We are connecting the root with our intuition. So our most primal aspects of humanity are being connected with our most elegant, intelligent, multidimensional aspects. Our intuition, our ability to manage this physical vessel on a higher octave through the throat and through the heart that connects you with all things in the universe. The heart is the center of coherence. We come into coherence with one another. We come in coherence with information. Your body is an intelligent system of translating frequencies. So the more that you cultivate this open runway of energy through your body, the more you can access, information that's necessary for you. That's your guidance. And I'm not talking about like you're going to channel some incredible information, but you are going to come back into harmony, come back on your quote unquote path, your path of harmony, your path of truth, your path of awareness, and to remove yourself out of all of the matrix suffering, traumas, programs that we are holding in the body. Release them, integrate them, heal them, become whole in those areas of ourselves. Remember who we are, as opposed to the stories that we have been holding on to of ourselves, in order to access your true self, which is essentially the no self. It is the all and nothing simultaneously. This is what we are uncovering in the physical body. So when we have a disconnect with our higher self, we fear the unknown. Oh boy, this guy's not cooperating. Hold on just a second. When we are disconnected from our physical body, we fear the unknown. When we are not connecting with our emotions, we fear the unknown. When we are not comfortable with truth, we fear the unknown. So this entire crown is going to feel empty. It's going to feel like a void. It's going to feel like you can't connect to it. It's going to feel like it's impossible to communicate with that part of you. So the invitation is connect with that. Okay. All right. So thank you for that. And to fix that, essentially expand your crown. Expand your crown. Your crown is an entire sphere around your body. When your crown is expanded, so, the reason why I put the picture like this here is because it's easy for us to fit everything in one place. But hold on just a second. Delete this. But actually, the way that these chakras look are like spheres. Okay, so I don't know if I can actually grab this, but let me see if I can. Oh, yay, we can. Okay, so the crown, it's this. Okay, that's actually the crown. The eighth is actually this. Okay, your root chakra, depending on what it is, it's, you know, it's expanded. That one's just a picture. So, okay, so expand this. When this is the biggest field of your body, okay, when your seventh chakra is the largest field of your body, do you think that you're going to attract and manifest frequencies that are operating in a lower form? No, because everything is energy and we work by resonance. So this is operating at a certain wavelength of frequency. You're also going to attract that similar wavelength of frequency into your space. And everything that is at a slower wavelength of frequency, it's not going to, well, you have to be conscious of that, but you get to choose whether you allow that to affect your body or not, or you respond to it. But having this sphere larger in your body, that's the activation of your chakra. When I say activate your chakra, this is what I mean. You are expanding the spheres of your body around your whole body because you are full body awareness. Front, back, side to side, up, down awareness. And you are intentionally expanding that chakra in order for you to shift your perception and your creative ability in this physical experience. And therefore, this doesn't mean that you're going to walk around like, you know, like some kind of elevated monk all the time. Okay, please understand. And it doesn't mean that you're void of karma. It doesn't mean that you're not void of these cycles that you're experiencing. This means that you are intentional and you are looking to experience life from your higher self. So in meditation, we shine our crown chakra on top of our karmic contracts. We visualize an entire room full of karmic contracts. And these karmic contracts are essentially all of the agreements that we have made in order to experience separation during our incarnation. These contracts are created by our archetypal agreements, ancestral agreements. It's encoded in your DNA, both your biological DNA and also universal DNA of this planet Earth through the morphogenetic field. Remember that your vessel, your fractal, is a self-organized system of experience for the entire whole, for this greater consciousness. Okay, so this universe is experiencing through you your specific frequency experiences, your specific perception. And so what we're doing is we get to apply free will and dissolve these karmic contracts that we have made in unconscious states in order to experience. And we begin to fill this little house with our seventh chakra, which is the higher self. We wake up consciousness. This is the beauty of the human experience. If you wake up consciousness, you can choose what you're going to co-create in this realm by using the laws of this universe. And you choose essentially to experience from the higher self your lessons, which means that you're going to be more aware of them. You're going to be, you know, this requires you to be present with yourself, which is why GPAC is so important. But that presence allows you to recognize yourself, know yourself so deeply that you recognize these challenges, these invitations for experience, and to choose consciously what you want to experience from those invitations. If you are dormant, disconnected, you're just going to repeat. And remember, invitations for experience usually are in repetition because invitations for experience operate by the self-organizing laws of resonance. They come into our space based on our frequency. Okay, so I hope that's clear. I know that's kind of all right. Let me come here to the messages. I want to see. I'm going to jump into the questions, and then we're going to jump into our. Liza says, how to work with financial ancestral blockages. My finances have improved, but it's been a constant up and down challenge. Looking to create more financial success and freedom for myself, becoming a life coach. Thinking this is the first step towards real change and meaningful work. So the fact of the matter is, if we want to tap into our abundance, we have to, and I'm talking about what do I mean by wealth in finances? I'm not talking about you're going to be able to buy, 5 houses, 10 cars, unless that is something that supports your work. Okay, so when you come into alignment with your purpose, which means, again, when you come into harmony with yourself, your higher self with the physical, come into harmony. um, your path reveals itself because you're aware of your gifts. Okay, so each human has a specific frequency. We have special abilities that are specific to us based on all of the karmic limitations. The opposite of those karmic limitations are essentially your gifts. Those are your abilities. Okay, so the alchemization of all of your limiting belief systems and your fears and anxieties essentially alchemize into your strengths and what you're here to share with this world, to be of service. Because when you alchemize them, you're already being of service. The moment you alchemize them, you are healing your ancestral lineage. You see that? So that's already half of your purpose down, right? You get to work with your ancestral. You are working towards this collective healing. The moment you work on yourself, you're already doing it. Okay, so that's one part of it. And that opens up a great abundance, because again, what is abundance? It's open pathways of energy. And when we block ourselves from any one of our centers, which are operating at different frequencies, love, communication, intuition, safety, exchange, sexual energy, remember that anytime you block any one of those, your body goes out of harmony. So this blocks and creates imbalances, ripple effect in other areas of your life, your relationship, your money, your whatever it is. So you need to understand that. So where are we still having this disharmonious disconnect with ourselves? That's going to be where your abundance lies, okay? Because it's also going to help you understand what your purpose is, because this is a healing planetary experience. Heal means to become whole. We incarnate into the planet in order to remember our wholeness. And any human or any physical experience is for the experience of wholeness. Okay, so, and a lot of that is in a third, fourth dimensions. These lower dimensions are always about those kinds of reunifying experiences on the higher level. So in this third dimension, it's about coming whole and then creating. Okay, so that being said, when you come into harmony with yourself, abundance is a natural side effect. It's completely natural. And essentially, because we are in harmony with our environment, it's a natural ebb and flow of energy that comes by. When we give abundantly, we are propelling the energies of this reciprocal energy in the universe, and it's not something that is expected. Okay, so anytime that we are expecting, it's a lack consciousness, because we don't feel that we are enough and we need to have something in return. And lack consciousness can go into many aspects of our subconscious mind. So we need to revisit our relationship with abundance, revisit our relationship with self-worth, revisit our relationship with giving and receiving. If we have guilt and shame around any of those exchanges, you can pretty much see that we're blocked in our ability to co-create any level of abundance, because those emotions are very strong. Shame and guilt are very stagnant emotions, and you might feel them as a little emotion that you keep avoiding all your life, but energetically, what does that look like in your body? It's like a giant rock mountain energetically in your body. Literally, it's going into many layers of your multidimensional body and blocks energy. That's why this healing of your blockages energetically is so important, so that you can become aware of what it is that you are avoiding. Okay, so take a look at your relationship with exchange. Now, exchange energy in this universe is creative energy, which is our sexual energy. If we have a lot of shame, guilt, and trauma in our sexual energy, we also have a lot of blockage in our financial. Okay, because these are the same kind of exchange energies. And it's very interesting, but the more healing that we do with our ability to come into our divinity. So in alchemy, in sexual alchemy, we transmute lust into pure love, into divine love. Okay, and what happens when we're in a state of divine love? You know, the whole aspect of the self dissolves, the attachment dissolves, the control dissolves, and it becomes a fluid regenerative. That's why it's related with water, right? A regenerative system of flow. That is actually tapping into abundance. That is money energy. So when we detach from these limiting belief systems about money flow, mind, body, and soul, we begin to heal that. So ancestrally, take a look at the relationship with sex, take a look at the relationship with exchange. Okay. How was demonstrating and giving love and compassion in your family lineage? Was it really control? Was it transactional? Was it, does it totally depend on what we do or what we're not doing? Take a look at that, because that will tell you exactly the relationship. When we come into pure states of love with ourselves, which means harmony in ourselves, as I described earlier, we come into a joyful state. We return back to that childlike state of innocence. And that childlike state of innocence that is the divine, that divine state. That childlike state of innocence is where we can exchange with the world fluidly. And we don't have fear of losing. We don't have fear of not having. It is something that we give with love, and whatever love that you put into the universe and the things that you're doing, the things that you're intending, comes back. That's how this wave of water energy works in this universe. So take a look at the relationship with that, and compassionately work with your relationship around money, around your worth, around your ability to love and receive love, and your fears and attachments to that. Because this exchange energy is completely not attached. It's completely not in control. It's not about control. It's really about that fluid movement. Liza says, receiving was always difficult for me. I'm always helping others. I have been more open to let go, feeling shame for accepting help. Exactly. So, yeah. So, if we have this, and that's, if we have these shame feelings about receiving, how will the universe energetically reciprocate the giving? Okay. So, yeah, our giving also has to be very detached, right? We just give, we don't expect anything back, and we have this reciprocal energy moving. So yeah, that's amazing. Santi says, I realize judgment is another disconnection between myself. Absolutely, absolutely. Peter Carr, thank you so much for that super chat. Great to see you. So generous of you. Love you. Thank you. Your super chats mean a lot to me. I'm very appreciative of that. Smart Money Guys says, you created similar chart to David Hawkins of states of consciousness. What level in that chart is the 0 point? Well, the 0 point essentially is when we come into a universal consciousness, essentially, but the 0 point can be found in little bits in every single one of those levels, okay, and at different amounts. Of course, the most disconnected part, it's the least amount of the 0 point. The more we come into a unity consciousness, what's unity consciousness? As I described today, coming into harmony internally and with your external. So the more we come into harmony, the more we are balancing the zero. We are embodying the 0 point. Okay. Madame Mystique says, no, thank you. What tips do you have to release fear of lucid dreaming and astral projection? I have always suppressed my natural ability, but I'm already I'm ready to step into this power. So that fear of astral projection and lucid dreaming is essentially fear of truth, because to be lucid, we have to be able to see truth. We have to be able to see things um, as they are, without judging, without having to apply meaning necessarily, without compartmentalizing, without feeling that we need to be protected from those things or as separate from the experiences. And we need to let go of control, okay, surrender. And you have to be, just like the previous question, no longer afraid of the unknown. Okay, we have to be willing to become friends with the unknown. And we do that by creating integrity with ourselves. We build integrity and self-trust. Self-trust is built through integrity. And this integrity with your core values, what do you truly value, allows you to build a really strong foundation of self-trust with yourself. And that self-trust is rooted in the understanding that you are more non-physical than you are physical. Okay? Because this is also how you transcend the fear of death, essentially, right? This illusion that when we die, we suffer, or we're afraid of what's the unknown beyond that. So to understand that you are an infinite being of life force that is just temporarily in this physical manifestation, and you can control this physical manifestation. For example, you can alchemize pain in your body. You can heal yourself. You can heal yourself from illnesses. You can change your life. You can transform your circumstances, activating your higher faculties. Those are all things that we believe are not true. But this is the embodiment of the Christ consciousness, the embodiment of that example of Christ. You then become this embodiment of elevated consciousness and the ability to work and engage harmoniously with nature, because you are a non-physical being. So those are very important for you, Madame Mystique Noor. Okay? All right, beloved souls, let's get into the meditation and I'll jump into more questions, all right? Go ahead and allow yourself to come into a really nice, comfortable state, breathing deeply. Every breath you take, as you allow yourself to drop into your body, we're going to come into as much stillness as we can, observing our bodies in the stillness for a moment. Become aware of your 13 layers of your body. Take a look at the state of your bodies around you. Are they torn? Are they open? Do they have tears? Are you unable to sense them? Some of you might see, some of you might feel, some of you might know. You go ahead and use your strongest sense. As you see the 13 layers around your body, let's begin to tune in to where we have blockages there. You're going to see these blockages as energetic masses, maybe dark spots, maybe invisible spots that are hard to see. Tune into your energetic space. The straighter your spine is, the easier it is for you to tap in as you open the pathway. Okay, very good. So we're going to go deeper. Don't worry, we'll have more time for this in just a second. Go ahead and ground yourself down to the center of the earth. Remember, you have a bodysuit of energy. You're going to anchor that into the center core. The grounding cord is not just from the root chakra. It's not from the legs. It's the entire center body, entire physical body down to the center of the earth. And the higher up your body that grounding cord is connecting, the more grounded you're going to feel. So you can go all the way up to your neck, all the way up over your head if you want. Connect down to the center core of the planet, front and back, side to side. Take a moment to feel the rotation of the earth through your body as you go deeper into a state of observation. You are coming into alpha state. The mere practice of searching for that rotation of the earth, the feeling of the rotation of the earth, brings you into alpha state. So you are expanding your receptors, your sensors of your body. Okay, let's go deeper. Go ahead and focus on the root chakra at the base of the spine. Go ahead and shrink that root chakra front and back down to the size of a dime. Go up to the sacral, shrinking that sacral chakra down to the size of a dime. Doesn't mean we're turning it off, doesn't mean we're disconnecting. All we're doing is we are controlling. When we shrink them down, we are allowing ourselves the ability to balance any kind of imbalanced activity inside of these lower chakras. And as we open our third eye, we can see exactly all of the chaos that we have been holding and creating in our energetic bodies in the root, the sacral, and the solar. Any debris that might be there. Because when you have the root, the sacral, the solar overactive and expanded as a filter of your perception, it's very hard for you to identify those lower blockages and what has been happening in the lower bodies. Go up into the solar plexus, shrink the solar plexus down to the size of a dime. So when your chakras are blocked and stagnant, some of you have the back of your chakras blocked and stagnant. When you shrink them and you're consciously working with them, you actually wake them up. Okay, so that's another thing I want to mention. Some of you think, well, it's already blocked and shrunk down and you know, disconnected. So what am I shrinking here? Well, you know, one thing is for the energy to be blocked, another thing is for it to be fluidly moving. So when you are intentionally shrinking that chakra, you're waking it up in order to move the energy from that blocked, stagnant state. Usually chakras that are really slow, sluggish moving, you know, those are the ones that are blocked. So actually you're speeding up the rotation of those chakras. Wherever your attention goes, that's where the energy is. That's where your creation is. Go up into your heart. Go ahead and expand the heart chakra, front and back. You can imagine a green light emitting, turning on and expanding from your front, your chest and your back. Notice where it's hard to expand into. That's where you have blockages. That's where you have pictures. go up into your throat. Pictures are energetic, crystallized energetic blockages in your field. As I mentioned, they hold memories, they hold cords, and emotional data. Go into your throat. Go ahead and open your throat chakra front and back, expanding your field of your throat. Go into your third eye, expanding your third eye front and back. Go into your crown, activate your crown, expanding your crown. As I mentioned, it's an entire sphere of your body. So the seventh should be the largest of all your bodies right now. The root, sacral, solar are shrunken down, so they're the smallest of your bodies right now. Notice how it completely shifts your perception. It brings you deeper into your body. The longer you train in this reading state, the more activated your intuition is. The more you are in harmony with nature. Breathing. Remembering to breathe, remembering to breathe. Breath is how we direct the energy to be moving through the body. Okay, from the center of the earth, you're going to visualize a powerful green life force that comes rushing up into your feet, shins, calves, knees, into your thighs, into your solar plexus, creating a vortex of energy all around you. Visualize that green light moving around you, sweeping through your layers of your body, preparing to clear out heavy blockages. It's going to aid us in removing these blockages swiftly and cleanly. So right now, if you're in depression or you have a lot of heavy emotions, you have a very sluggish frequency moving in your body, when we bring earth energy into the body, it kind of refreshes and moves that stagnant energy that you are currently working in your body. From source, go ahead and bring down cosmic energy down from the crown of your head, combining with the earth energy. You're mixing green and gold around your solar plexus and around all layers of your body. We're going to take 10% of that back down to the center of the earth, anchoring cosmic energy through your body into the earth. We're going to take 80% of that energy up your spine from the crown of your head, coating the outside of your bubble. Visualize this green and gold energy clearing your relationship with the matrix. Any kind of external entanglements, people, places, and things that are no longer in alignment or that we have unconsciously connected to. Just imagine that your energy, your life force, returning back to your body like a gold light. Just coming back, bring yourself back. All of your self that has been dispersed in the past week, month, if you haven't been here in a while, call yourself back into your body. And let go of anything that does not belong. If you've been watching a lot of social media, your energy is entangled in every post that you connect to. Call your energy back into your body. Watching a lot of TV. If you've been really social, call back your energy from every person that you were unconscious with. You fell asleep with. Call back your life force into your body. You'll notice your body beginning to re-energize. If you have an illness, the body begins to heal. You're going to take that final 10% of green and gold, you're going to bring it into the body, into the pores, the flesh, the muscles, the bones, down to the cells of the body. Go ahead and visualize earth and cosmic energy, source energy, entering, permeating every cell of your body. You're going to bring that awareness into your body as you also wake up consciousness and wake up your body. Wake up the awareness in every cell of your body. So this is what it feels like to be present. Keep yourself grounded. A lot of people have a tendency to unground when they start to feel this presence. Right now, you are growing gray matter in your brain. Okay, the longer you stay in this state, the more gray matter you grow on a daily basis. Of course, gray matter develops over time, but this is how to do it. Okay, begin to look in your field. I want you to shift your vision now into your energetic body. And we're going to begin to scan the body for dark spots, holes, openings. Take a look. 13 layers of your body. What do you see there? Is one side of your body flat and the other side of the body expanded? Take a look. Okay, so whatever is going on in your field, go ahead and start to bring it back into harmony. Correct it. If your energy is flat on one side, take your attention to that side. Notice what's there. See what picture is in that space. Picture looks like an object. It can be an apple. It can be just a dark shadow. Whatever is there, you can go ahead and personify it if you want. Take a look and see what blockage is there. Go ahead and use your body to pick up subtle information about this blockage. You can tune into emotions that come up when you connect with this dark part of yourself, this shadow part of you, this invisible part of you, this open space. Tune into emotions, thoughts, memories without applying meaning, simply observing without judging. You're just observing. Go ahead and see those blockages in your energetic space. And you can either use your invisible hand to begin to dissolve it. You're going to use your crown. Shine your crown light on top of them and begin to dissolve them. Either way, whatever you grab, whatever you dissolve is being put into a vortex of violet light, either above or below your body, both of them going to source, both of them transmuting this lower matter into unconditional love. Okay, you don't need to know the whole story that's there in that blockage. You just need to get a sense of what it is. It's going to allow you to alleviate the tension emotionally, psychologically, and physically. When you move it out of your space. If things feel really hard to get rid of or like they're not moving, it's because we are very attached and identified to it. So as soon as you become aware of it, it's going to be easier to release what's there. And you can use your imagination to turn it into water, to blow it up, to burn it up, turn it into ashes, and then vacuum those ashes, whatever is easy for you. Use that. This is what imagination is actually for. And it has nothing to do with making up. You are reading your space and you're using energy, symbols, and forms in order to clear your energetic body. Trust what you see, trust what you know, and trust what you're doing. Okay, let's keep moving to the next blockage in your body. So your body should look your energetic body should look like a crystal clear, empty bubble or sphere. Okay, so if that sphere is interrupted in its shape, if it feels difficult to imagine the whole sphere around your body, those are blockages. Some of you might feel like the entire architecture of your sphere is like merging with another object. That's a blockage. So remove that out of your space. So right now, your signature, your energetic signature in your body is really illuminated. A lot of you might get some pretty profound insights on these blockages. Do not judge, do not get identified. Some of these blockages might go inside your body and they might look like threads. They might look like little threads. They might look like tentacle attachments inside of your organs, inside of the layers of your physical body. That means that this thought form has solidified into the physical. It's become crystallized into the physical already. It means that we repeat it very often and it's a part of our personality, which is our defense mechanism for life. So let yourself pull it out of your physical body if you see that these blockages and pictures go into your body. Sometimes you might see something that looks like curtains or walls. Go ahead and dissolve those. Keep working around your field all the way around. You can move clockwise around your entire sphere. Some of these blockages might have a lot of heavy emotional information. If that is the case, I want you to be present with the emotion and name out the emotions that come up. This will dissipate the emotion. It'll also provide you with information about what you're storing there, what's being blocked or what's being resisted. If you have a lot of heavy trauma that you've been avoiding for a long time, this is going to take up the majority of your time, and that's okay. This is exactly what this work is for. Pay attention to everything. Some things might seem distant in your field. That just means that it's really deep in the subconscious mind. Okay, so don't be afraid to also eliminate that. Don't just ignore it. Whatever you can see right now is what is affecting your current reality. That is for sure. Whatever you can sense, whatever you know, whatever you identify is what is affecting your reality at this current time. Notice underneath your body, on top of your body. You'll notice that your body is really bright energetically right now. That's because you're lightening up all this heaviness. Okay, you'll notice a much deeper peace, a more deeper calm, more stable, less chatter in your mind. This is how you clear your energetic space, and it's also how you heal your body. Some of you might see something that looks like contracts or agreements. Go ahead and use your crown to dissolve those. You tune into that subtly, you can probably pick up the programs and the agreements that were made and with who. As you develop your vision, all of these symbols become very clear. And the more present you are throughout your day, the less of a surprise these blockages are, because you're very present with yourself and you catch them as you go. The more present you are throughout your day, the less of these kinds of heavy pictures you're going to have in your space. Okay, so as you finish clearing these 13 layers, go ahead and visualize all 13 layers being cleared down to zero, all negative down to zero, bringing all charges of all 13 bodies down to zero, negative infinite. Go ahead and bring your connection and your attention to your crown. Illuminate the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, the 11th, the 12th, the 13th, all the way to the 24th. Above you is a powerful white light, a source. Go ahead and bring that white light down into your body, down to the center of your body. Let that white pillar of light move through the central core of your body, down through the perineum into the center of the earth. You're going to focus on opening the root chakra, the sacral, the solar. You're going to close the heart a little bit, the throat a little bit, the third eye a little bit. But the largest is your third eye. And then the larger than that is your crown. So as you allow yourself to come back into the room and open your eyes, go ahead and see yourself in the present moment. Look around you. Do not lose your awareness to your multidimensional body. Don't lose your awareness to your grounding, to your sphere, to your chakras. Let yourself continue to have that double vision of your multidimensional body and then the physical surroundings. Just look around for a moment and allow yourself to see both at the same time. Okay, so that's developing your higher faculties right there. Excellent work. Welcome back. You can stay as long as you like in that state. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. It was a true honor as always. And I hope that this Self-Love Sunday helps you come into your 0 point. And remember to come into that 0 point as much as possible during the week. And happy holidays for all of you that celebrate these holidays and have a wonderful time with your families and friends. Remember to own your space, maintain your awareness, and be the light as you hold space as an example for what it means to come into this state of harmony, internally and externally. Okay, so I want to thank you guys so much. Thank you for your questions. Let me see if there are any important questions I need to answer quickly before I jump off. Let me take a look here. I feel like I'm getting a hug from the trees in my nervous system when I'm in nature. It doesn't matter if it's cold, raining, it feels like, yeah, that's right. I love your work. Thank you, Madame Mystic North. Wonderful to have you here. Spiritualize, non-judgment, just observe, send love. That's all we can do. Yeah. And I'm also want to say about sending love, because I notice a lot of people talk about just send love, but there is something about that that actually I've been wanting to talk about for a long time, but I haven't touched on it. Remember that when you send love, you are entangling yourself with another. And sometimes we ourselves are not in harmony in our body with our own love, with our own capacity of love. And so what happens is that we end up depleting our energy rather than doing anything productive for the other person or for yourself. We just deplete our life force. So actually, and also we are not really falling into the law of free will of the universe when we direct our love and the attention of another person without really understanding, what is happening. So most important first is to learn how to own your space, how to create harmony internally. And from that place, you can exchange when the other is ready to receive important information to help them in their evolutionary cycle, always respecting the law of free will. Yeah, but I'm going to talk more on that deeper next time, because we'll talk about what it looks like to throw energy at each other energetically, because it's very interesting. Okay. All right, guys. Let's see. Antonio Montemayor, welcome. So much extra info I needed today. A bit about grounding through the core, the explanation of the energy being more easily balanced when the chakra is shrunken, and the info about walking them up. Yes, waking them up. Yes, thank you so much. Let me see, where else do we have capital letters, guys? I'm looking for capital letters. Do I need my GPAC? Do I need my GPAC, my 10-month-old baby? Yeah, so if you have a baby and you just gave birth, definitely it would be so amazing that you learn how to maintain that neutral connection to yourself, because especially babies, are extremely open, extremely open. They can feel, sense, pick up everything. So your GPAC, which is your basic energetic hygiene, is a tremendous gift to the child to help them regulate their nervous system as they are being introduced to the world. Because the more you maintain a regulated nervous system, the more the child comes into coherence with you. And you create a nucleus in your family of coherence. Um, Coherence is not just about feeling connected to one another, but bioelectrically and biogeometrically, it is a network of open information. So actually, when a child is in coherence with us as a parent, we allow we open pathways of energy to allow the higher self to come into fuller embodiment in the child and in ourselves. So it's a very powerful way to help open and prepare the child to recognize this pattern of harmony internally and externally. And that's energetic. You cannot teach it by language. You cannot teach it, by showing a picture. It is the embodiment that teaches, and the child learns to mirror and regulate that. So it would be just amazing for you to practice that with your child. I feel like I had squid attachments in my left side. Why? Absolutely. So I think I did a presentation about this years ago, but attachments and entities and blockages have tentacle-like energies that go into our physical body, into different parts of our body. It's just the nature of how our energetic body is structured because of how we are a self-organizing system. So it's always going to look like tentacles, going to look like threads, cords. That's how energy begins to crystallize as it connects to a larger mass. They are little cords, energetic cords in our body. If you would see what you really look like in the energetic body, you're more of a light, a structure of light. So these heavy masses use thread-like systems, pathways of energy that are usually vortex-like coils that connect to different parts of your body and your energy system. So don't be afraid of that. Allow yourself to pull those squids, cords, octopus, whatever they are, out of your body into these vortices of light connecting to source. It's very, very powerful to do that. A long time ago, I was told we are asked if we want to accept our body, and if we say yes, we go down a beam of light and enter our body. Yeah, absolutely. We're light, absolutely manifested. Senti says, I saw 2 deers in my meditations. What does it mean? Any ideas? Thank you, dear. So yeah, you know what? Let me refresh my memory on what a deer is, but it has a lot to do with mindful movement. Deers are very, very gentle in their movement, and it's about coming into that gentle, subtle, connected, mindful, intentional movement. Okay, so it's a very sacred symbolism. And Santi, I know who you are. I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna send it to you so you can read it a little bit more. And I'll post it in the comments on the replay, okay? Because right now I don't have it off the top of my head, but it's such a beautiful representation of your spirit animal. Every time that we see animals, it gives us information about where we're at. This morning, as a matter of fact, I was at my window and this beautiful bee, and I don't have usually bees on, and I live higher off the floor, and the bee came and it walked around and came to have water. So what I saw around the bee is like a honeycomb. Bioelectrical system of the bee looks like a honeycomb with the pentagram. What is it, the penta? The 5-sided geometric shape. Remind me what that is. The hexagon? No. Anyway, it had this beautiful system around it of energy, and it was thirsty. So half of its energetic field was missing. So we did a little bit energy work with that beautiful bee, and as a moment, it began to fly away. So yeah, so take a look at what the messages are of these animals. They're always bringing symbolism through their form. Should I imagine him grounded, protected, and aligned? Yes, for your baby, you can. Yes, you ground him, you protect him, and This is only for mother-child or father-child relationships or intimate partnerships for a long time, okay? Because otherwise we're obstructing on free will. So because it's your baby, yes, you can ground and protect your baby. And however, when you come into coherence, the child automatically it activates its energetic force field, by the way. I might do a class on that. Yeah, the child activates its force field naturally, okay? Because once again, our geometry is a natural expression of order. So we don't really need to do anything. All we're doing is we're seeing it because we're remembering what's there. We are the ones changing our awareness. It already exists, is basically what's happening in energy work, okay? Shala Noor, how the emotional parasites are connected to the real parasites in the body. Deeply, deeply connected. In fact, we develop parasites in the biome as a result of continuous emotional patterns that we repeat. Usually are around self-hate, self-rejection that make us go into patterns of addiction to sugars, addiction to salts, the things that we're eating come out of balance as a result of our emotional imbalance. And therefore, parasites are then fed and developed in the body and sustained. So when we change our emotional state, we can also change the biome and vice versa. Sometimes when we are extremely ill, the new medicine is showing how to heal the biome first, and then the body of the person just heals automatically. And I know that there are fecal transplants, for example. The medicine around fecal transplants are incredible. The entire biome of the person just regenerates and the person heals as a result of this. But as you know, it has to be hand in hand with shadow work. Otherwise, we're just gonna, replace that same mechanism again over and over in our bodies. Geraldine, can you speak about megalons? Is this the same thing as entities on a fascia tissue level? I've seen these on someone. YouTube zoomed in on the surface of the skin. I'm sorry, I don't know what that is. So I'll have to look that up, Lisa, and let you know, because I don't know what that is. Thank you so much for the question, though. Secret Alchemy. Thank you so much. Had been wanting to catch you talk. Thank you so much for being here. Krista, hi. What about the owls appearing for me? Is it wisdom? How do I know? Yes, owls are another. Notice what time they're appearing, and sometimes you can look up the symbolism behind the animals. A lot of the indigenous cultures have a beautiful library of symbolism around animals that are deeply connected because they've taken the time to connect with the animals and to open the communication. But as a general rule, you connect with the animal that you're connecting with and receive the download. What's the message that's being presented to you? What's the communication? You have to learn to be your own seer and your own mystic, your own intuitive, essentially. Everything is a symbol. There's symbols all around us that are constantly communicating to us. We have to learn to recognize and translate that language of energy. Okay? All right, guys. I love you, and I will see you soon. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and see you next weekend. All my